that Google Maps doing?
Huh?
What are you recording on?
GoPro. It's GoPro.
I know, but like, are you posting it?
Yeah, YouTube.
YouTube?
Is it recording?
So is it recording right now?
Yeah.
So we're about to be on YouTube?
We're gonna be on YouTube. That's cool.
What's your YouTube?
It's electric scooter guy.
Electric scooter guy. That's cool.
How fast did I go? You got subscribers?
37. I got like 400 or something.
Electric.
That's cool.
What?
So it's recording right now?
Yeah.
How fast does it go?
37.
37. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yep, that's it.
So we're about to be on YouTube?
Yep.
When?
I don't know. I gotta put the footage together and stuff.
Wait, will you put us on YouTube?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Out past midnight where the streetlights hum. Tires kiss pavement like a beat on the run. No tags, no name, just a silent breeze. He don't stop for the flash or the freeze. Corners whisper like they know the truth. Every alley's got a story, every tale got proof. Seen on Main and gone by Vine, just a red glow fading through the power lines. Can't trace him, but you feel the pull, a spark in the silence, a charge in the low. You blink, he's passed already a mile, but every wheel turn leaves a little smile. He rides the edge of the neon sky, ghost in motion, no goodbye. Don't believe till he passes by. Never loud, but he makes a wave. Every crack in the road, every street he paves. Pure wheel balance, throttle tuned tight. Built from parts and a will to fight. He's not flash, he's not fame. Doesn't ride for clicks or a trending name. He moves with a purpose, clean and tight, like the city gave his current to the night. Or he's not the kind you find, just the kind you watch for, if you're lucky. He rides the edges of the neon sky, ghost in motion, no goodbye. When he passes by.
You're up, Scooter fam. So there was some footage of the Electrify Expo in Dallas, and just wanted to talk about that real quick, and then we'll watch some more footage and chit chat a bit more. But so overall, you know, I did have a good time at the Electrify Expo, although it didn't really wasn't what I was expecting, if I'm being honest. And that wasn't, you know, my expectations were necessarily misguided, because there was a list of vendors that was supposed to be at the expo that were included on the list where I paid for my tickets, and most of them did not show, including Voro Motors. And that's just disappointing. Melvin mentioned himself in a live stream that I was on that he that not necessarily that he would go, but that Voro would be at all of them, including Dallas. I asked him specifically about Dallas, but he said they were all going, so I was really disappointed that Voro didn't show up. And I didn't get to test any Voro scooters for you guys. Sorry about that. Out of everyone that was listed, everyone that said they were going or whatever, only 3 people, vendors showed up that I was interested in testing any of their scooters or PEVs. And one was In Motion. Obviously, I wanted to test the P6, but they didn't have it available for testing. Another thing was a little tad disappointing there. I really wanted to test the P6 or at least the V14. I was kind of hoping to get a feel for both of them, kind of see which one might be a good next step for me if I decide to go with another EUC. But I could only test the V12S, which is nice. I do like it, but it's not something I see myself purchasing. I think it's sort of along the same lines as the V11Y. Had I not purchased the V11Y, the V12S might be, more for my needs. It's just a nice, smooth wheel, a bit more bulky than the V11Y. It felt definitely interesting compared to the V11Y. But it's the only other EUC that I've ridden now is they had the V9 there and the V8F or V8S. Whatever. I mean, I just wasn't really interested in trying the smaller stuff. I'm sure it'd have been fun, but I was really trying to get an idea for a wheel that I might be interested in moving up to. So that being said, I decided to ride around the V12S for a while, and I did that at first, and then came back and rode it a little bit more just for fun. And I did enjoy riding it. There's no question. But like I said, it's not really a step up from the V11Y. In my opinion, it's sort of they're both 84-volt wheels. It's got a higher spec top speed, but it's not that much. And I don't know. They feel like they're pretty similar in performance. I think the V11Y actually has higher peak power, if I remember correctly. But anyway, they're very similar. Like I said, it's anything is going to be minor differences between the two as far as specs go. And I mean, like I said, it's a little heavier, maybe 10 pounds heavier, a tad bulkier. It is a bit wider. It was interesting to ride. Like I said, it's only my second EUC to ride. So I'm still having any more experience riding like a V14 or V11Y. So I was a little bit disappointed they didn't have those there. Mostly they were catering to people that didn't know how to ride. If I'm being honest, they weren't really catering to people that were already riding in motions, people that were already riding EUCs. There weren't that many there. There weren't that many people that were skilled enough to jump on anything other than the basic ones and try those out. There were not many. People there on the bigger EUCs, the regular ones. So there are 3 things I did get to test: the V12S, the GoTrax GX1. They had the GX3 there as well, but I didn't care for the trigger throttle. So I only had a limited time to do this. I mean, I didn't want to take up everyone else's time with me there. I just didn't feel like I wanted to go back and test everything at every place. I was going to go back the second day, but I didn't get to go. So I was considering testing more things, but I didn't get a chance. So what I got a chance to test, the GX1 from GoTrax, which, I'm sure there's some things people can say about it, and I can sit here and make excuses for these things that I test, or I could just tell you my opinion based on my experience. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm sure that there could be reasons for some of the things that I say that might not be 100% positive, but that's just my experience. That doesn't mean that it's the worst thing in the world. It doesn't mean that you can't take my information and use your own judgment and decide what to do from there, but I will give my honest opinion. So for the GoTrax GX1, my feedback is I didn't feel like the brakes were good enough. I didn't like the brakes. They didn't make me feel very confident. That's just my, like I said, I can give you a million reasons why I think that might be, or maybe they could be adjusted, or whatever the case may be. But when I jumped on and rode what they gave me to ride, I didn't like the feeling of the brakes. And so that's that. It's a little clunky, but that's probably to be expected for the type of scooter it is. It's not made to be a smooth scooter, so that's not me making an excuse for it. That's just me explaining that's probably to be expected. It's more of a clunky style of a scooter, made for off-road and stuff like that. So not disappointed in that at all, but just a perspective. Wanted to give my perspective on that. It is a bit clunky. For my needs, probably wouldn't do. I'm not going to ride them off-road a lot, so it's not necessarily a deal breaker, but just an idea that is a bit clunky. So as far as the only other feedback I really have was the front wheel was kind of hard to stop spinning. And I know it's a powerful little scooter and on all that. GX1, I like it for $1,000. I think it's a decent deal if that's what you're looking for. But you should know some things. So the front wheel really had a tough time spinning. And even though, I used the same throttle as I used on the Klima, I still couldn't get a control over that front wheel spinning when I try to accelerate from a low speed. Once I got up to speed, it's okay, but from a stop or really low speed, I got spin out even when I was trying very, very much so to not do that. So I don't like that part. I'm sure I could get used to that, but it's not something I want to have to get used to, and I don't want to make a mistake and have to get used to that, because of a crash. So I didn't personally like that. I rode it around a few times. Obviously no issues there, but still, I felt like it could be. I know they're not. It's $1,000 scooter and so forth, but I've got my Apollo sitting there. That's a $1,000 to $1,100 scooter. That doesn't have that problem. I've never had problems with any of my scooters, and I have a Klima. It's way more powerful than the GX1, but I have very good control over that. So, I didn't like the GX1 because of that, the lack of control over that front wheel spin, and then maybe some things to address this. Like I said, this is just my immediate feedback. This is my experience. I don't want to start looking for reasons not to give you this information or to downplay what I'm telling you. So this is my take. Other than that, the scooter was solid. Didn't feel it was like it was going to fall apart. When I say it's clunky, it felt solid, just rough, roughly built, and like I said, it's probably to be expected. What the two knocks on it was, I thought the brakes were lacking, and I felt like the front wheel spin was a bit annoying and tough to control, and I didn't care for that. All right, the other PEV that I tested was the VMAX, the new VMAX VX4, and so once again, just my feedback. I know I've seen other stuff, and I know people find it might be against what other people say or whatever, but I'm giving you my honest 100% opinion. Full disclosure, full transparency. I didn't think the acceleration was great, and I was in sports mode, and I didn't. Now, like I said, I consider and make excuses. Maybe the battery wasn't full. I think there's a beast mode or something. Not sure if I was in beast mode, but they set it up for me. They handed it to me. I did check that it was in sports mode because I didn't feel like the acceleration was very good. I just tried the GoTrax GX1 where I couldn't even control the front tire spin. Not that that's a good thing, but I went from one extreme to another where I just didn't feel like the acceleration was spectacular. Now, is it okay? Sure. Sure. I didn't say it was terrible. I got up to that 30 miles an hour, close to, I think, on both of those scooters. But it felt much nicer on the VX4 for sure. much smoother scooter. Obviously, I think you could probably catch that from the styles of how they're built. So the VX4 was much more smooth of a ride, much more smooth of a throttle for sure, but didn't have that punch. Even when I leaned into it, even when I tried to get going on it a little bit, it did get up to speed, but didn't have that pull. It didn't have that pull to it that I like in my scooter. So still, nice scooter. The other couple things I didn't like, the brakes were good, but they were loud. They were squeaky. Could that be solved? Sure, but I'm just giving you my opinion. I don't want you to go buy it a couple months later. Electric scooter guy, you said this was a great scooter. Now my brakes are all squeaky. I can't do anything about it. So I don't know why that is. Could it be solved? Sure. Is this a demo unit? Sure. But I'm not going to make excuses for it. I'm just going to tell you how I felt about it. Also, the suspension, not bad, but also squeaky. The rear suspension squeaked a lot. And so between the squeaky brakes and the squeaky suspension, that's what I experienced. Now, this is the brand new VMAX VX4. Did get up to close to 30 miles an hour. Did it very smoothly. I didn't have the problem with the brakes on that. Very smooth brakes. Just a little loud in the back, and then also the suspension. Both of those things. When I pulled the brake, I heard like a squeal, and then it was actually pretty annoying. I got heard it the whole time I was riding, and I don't know why they would give me that particular scooter. But like I said, if this is something that is going to occur with VMAX or something that could be solved, I don't know. It's not my scooter. I'm not riding it around. Just giving I'm giving you guys my opinions for the short experience that I did have with it, test riding it. So that's my experience. Like I said, the V12S, nothing wrong with it. Don't feel like it's an upgrade from the V11Y though. In some ways, but not enough for me to want to get that as well. Could I get that and switch it out? Sure, but I'm not really interested in doing that right now at this second. So I like my V11Y for what it is. It's very nimble, very agile, and I enjoy riding it. So I probably won't be looking to move up. So anyway, that's it for the Electrify Expo. We'll move on to something else. All right, so we'll start off watching a little footage here. Like I said, this is, as a lot of you guys might know, I'm from Dallas originally, and so while I was there, my buddy put me up, and so, which I really appreciate, and so it was nice of him for a few days. He put me up while I was visiting for the expo there, and got to go see some family and friends and stuff like that. So it was an awesome visit. Had an awesome time overall. Really good visit. So I decided in the morning, first morning on there, to get out a bit and see the area on my on the V11Y and go down to McDonald's and bring back some McDonald's. So it's pretty cool, pretty nice little neighborhood, and really fun just to get out and go see. I didn't know exactly where I was going. It's been a while since I've been in Dallas, and everything changes every time I come back. This is an area of town. I used to live in this area, not exactly, but I'm not too far from here. But like I said, it all changes, and I'm not exactly familiar with this exact neighborhood so much. So, yeah, just like I said, a nice trip, nice to get out, and like I said, one of the things I like about having the unicycle is I can pull out my phone, get directions, do what I need to do, and continue on my way. And so it's such a benefit to be able to use my hands and do the things that I need to do at the same time, without having to worry about crashing or hitting a bump or something that makes me fall off. On the bike, it's not so bad, but usually still got to hold on with one hand, at least on a bike. And if you do hit a big enough bump, it can mess you up on a bike. But on the EC, you have complete control over both hands, and that's one of the things I like about riding it a lot. So A lot of freedom. You're just moving along. You get to kind of do what you want to do there. So, I now have 1,000 miles on the V11Y, which is pretty cool. I like that was kind of my goal. Once I got started, I wanted to be able to go to the expo and test some EUCs, though I only got to test one. I could have tested more there. I spent a lot more time at that booth than I did some of the others, just because I was more interested in that than I was the GoTrax or the VMAX. So there's a Cybertruck. I did like I said, I did enjoy testing the V12S, but I originally wanted to get up to I wanted to get 1,000 miles of experience under my belt for EUCs. This is kind of a little bit of a scary area here to be darting across the road. But yeah, I did want to get 1,000 miles under my belt before then. I have now gotten the V11Y to 30 miles an hour, which is was my goal as well. So the fact that I got 1,000 miles, I got up to 30 miles an hour, all before going to the expo was checked. That checked those boxes. So pretty happy about that. Just can't say enough about the In Motion and the wheels. And so while we're talking about that, and then I was talking a little bit about possibly getting another wheel. So I like the V11Y. It gives me all I can handle. For sure, I have no issues with it. Never had the slightest issue with it. Been solid. It holds air better than all of my other PEVs. So they all seem to lose like a little bit here and there, but every time I check the V11Y, it's like dead on. So not sure what the reasoning behind that is, but I never have to add air to that thing. All my others I had to keep up with a little bit. But going on to could I get another unicycle? And I do think I want another unicycle, and I don't want another unicycle because the V11Y is not enough for me. At the moment, it's plenty for sure. I don't need a unicycle that will do over 30 miles an hour because I want to go over 30 miles an hour on my daily rides. I don't. 30 is plenty. And I don't go over 30 on any of my vehicles. So 30 is right where I kind of want to be. And, or close to it. That's fine. And so me getting up to 30 miles an hour on the V11Y, which at first I wasn't sure, but what I ended up doing to get there, someone gave me some advice about changing some of the settings. And so that's what I did. Because I was having to lean in my mind too much to try to get the extra torque and speed out of it. And so I just wasn't really comfortable continuing to lean forward. Being a newer rider, and I don't know the limits of the V11Y, and I know you got cut out and so forth, over lean, that kind of thing. So I'm not really just comfortable with just taking a stab at it and hoping that I get it right. So I went ahead and tested, changed a few settings up. One of the things that I did also is just adjust my pads. So I have my pads fairly well. I started off very loose, meaning the pads I just put them on there just to where they were on there, right? They didn't really do anything, right? I just put them on the EUC to get used to mounting the EUC with pads on them, because you kind of got to step around them as opposed to stepping and sliding on. You have something to contend with. So I did that at first, and once I got comfortable stepping around the pads and getting on the EUC, then I was able to squeeze them in a little bit so that I was getting some benefit from having them on there, which means I would kind of lean forward and then my knees would come in contact, or my shins and my knees would come into contact with the pads. And then I could drive my knees and my shins into the pads to get more acceleration. So I was doing that, but with the way the settings were at the time, still I couldn't get everything I wanted out of it that way. So the other thing I did was I did two more things. Towards where I finally got it dialed in, where I finally could get to 30 with not too much issues. So I tightened the pads up once again so that I was given even more acceleration to my knees and shins than I was the forward lean. So a lot of times I'm not even really leaning. I do kind of lean to get started, but once I'm going, I'm just using my knees, my shins to dictate how much I'm pushing into the pad. Some of that's lean, but a lot of it's just me using my knees to kind of drive into the pads, and that gets me the acceleration as opposed to lean only or mostly. The other thing I did was I changed the tilt angle on the pedals or the EC in general, but the tilt angle so that the pedals kind of tilt downward. And that was, of all the things that I tried as far as settings goes, that was the most noticeable. I changed the softness settings. I changed some other stuff. Everything I did, though, that tilting that thing forward was the answer. I kind of thought tilting it back, I don't know, I guess it was counterintuitive to me. I thought tilting it back an angle might help because then I wouldn't have to lean forward as far to get the same pressure on the pedals. But that kind of worked against me, and I felt myself not getting as much of the acceleration. It was kind of backward. So I went ahead and flipped it over to one leaning downward, and it puts all my weight forward, and it gives the wheel a much more sporty feel to it. I jump on and I'm going. A lot less effort, and once again, now with the tighter pads and the forward lean, it's really easier to get the acceleration in the wheel. So love that adjustment. Was finally able to get up to 30 miles an hour doing that in a controlled environment. The fastest I've gotten up to just riding around on my daily journeys is about 28 miles an hour, just 28 point something. So 25 to 30 miles an hour is where I'm at on all my stuff, just doing my daily errands, running around and so forth. So if I decided to get another wheel, it wouldn't be because 30 miles an hour is not fast enough. It would just be to experience another wheel and get and kind of raise my game, as far as wheels that I could ride. So, for me, scooters are great, and I'm probably going to level up in my scooter eventually too. E-bikes, they're okay. I may or may not level up anytime soon on those. We'll see. I kind of like what I got right now. It does what I need to do. And me going up to another level of e-bike, I don't know if that would be too much of a challenge. A scooter a little bit, definitely on the unicycle because they're heavier, manipulating them, turning, accelerating, braking. Those things are always a little tricky on the bigger, heavier wheels. So I didn't notice it too much on the V12S, a little bit, but nothing that stood out. So going up to a wheel like almost twice as heavy as the one I'm on now, or significantly heavier than what I'm on now, let's say like the V14 or even the P6, which is the crazy wheel. But for the V14, I think is a more obvious next step for me. A little more powerful, a little more heavier, but it's more meant for off-road riding. And so with me, doing some off-road. I mean, I don't do a lot of off-road riding. Do I need to go off-road from time to time? But yeah, it's just mostly in my commutes. If I had a wheel that was designed for off-road, I might go see what it's like, just because I have the ability to do that and give it a test. That would be kind of fun, but it's not something I'm gonna need every day. So it wouldn't. It's not something I'm looking to need. Really, it's not a big interest. Like I say, would it be cool to go see? Sure. Is it something I'm gonna make a habit of? No. So that's one of the reasons I would or would not maybe want to go to a V14. I could go outside of InMotion, of course. I could go to Big Goat, or I could go to Leverchem, or I could even go to Extreme Bull. Those are the big ones. King Song, maybe. But, I really like InMotion. I've dealt with them on a few little issues. They've always been really nice to me. I haven't had too many issues to come up. I have 1,000 miles on this wheel with 0 issues. They make a really good product. They have their flaws. I've heard of them. I know they have their flaws. That's one of the things that comes along with doing what they do. But once again, I personally have had good experiences with them. Even the little silly stuff that I did have, they helped me out with. Some of that was just me trying to understand how to do what I need to do on my wheel. So no real issues with them. They've like I said, been super helpful. Always nice to respond to me, but no issues whatsoever. No overheating issues, no cutouts. Obviously, I've never had the slightest issue with any kind of accident so far. Knock on wood. No problems at all. Wheel's been absolutely wonderful. Yeah, I can't say enough about how much I enjoy riding the InMotion V11. So, are there other wheels I wouldn't mind trying? I was really heavily leaning towards, and I think a lot of people, kind of felt this way as if they were looking at something like that. But like, I'm more looking for stuff like the, that's decent, and so something like the Leverchem Lynx or the Sherman L, or even the Oryx, which is kind of having some early issues. I think people are having with the Oryx, and so maybe not the Oryx, but the Sherman L or the Lynx. I like both of those. The Sherman L, I'm just carrying. It's another thing, like I said, it's nice about the unicycle is I can carry stuff in my hands if need be. I didn't feel like jamming this in my backpack. I got a backpack, but I've got drinks, and so I put drinks in my backpack, and then carry these by hand. And so that's the way that I decided to do it this morning, and it worked out. Yeah, no problems. But yeah, I've gotten a lot of confidence riding around on unicycles, especially mine, and then testing the V12S, not having too many issues with the V12S. Gave me a lot of confidence to try other wheels as well. So I don't think I had too much problems jumping onto a V14. The P6, people seem to really like and say it's really confidence inspiring. Some of the things, even though I love the V11Y, some of the things about riding EUCs in general that make me nervous, or just would rather not have to deal with, are two things: cutouts and wobbles. If I could ride an EUC that had no issues with cutouts, no issues with wobbles, to me that's the perfect unicycle. And I have had no issues with cutouts or anything like that on the V11Y. Wobbles, I have some wobbles here and there, and so if I had a wheel that could eliminate at least one of those, two of those things. One of those being wobbles. Cutouts. Well, I'll say it like this. Cutouts I don't really have to worry about too much. For me, I don't push the wheels to points where overlean or cutout is an issue that I would think, you know. So I keep my battery up above 50%, so I'm not playing in the dangerous areas, and I'm only going 25 to 30 miles an hour. So I feel pretty confident on the wheel that I'm on that's fine. But if I had a wheel that would go much faster than that, and I didn't have to worry about even coming close to that, and if I had a wheel that was stable enough at 0 to 30 speeds, where wobble was pretty much not a thing, I feel very good about that. So to me, that would be something more like the Sherman L or the maybe the P6. Stuff that I've seen with the P6, they, you know, these guys testing these things out. I didn't get to test them myself. That would have been great. But the guys testing these things out are putting it to the limits, accelerating really, really hard, and then braking really hard as well with no issues. Now, that doesn't mean I can do that. These guys are pros, and I'm just trying to kind of get started on my journey and with 1,000 miles under my belt. So I may not be a beginner anymore, but I'm certainly not a pro. And so I feel good enough to get on and I've dealt with wobbles. Like I said, never had a crash or anything like that. Knock on wood. I always have been able to recover from the wobbles. Never had any severe wobbles really, but they always make you a little nervous when they happen. And a lot of times for me, one of the things about going at the higher speeds, when I'm at the higher speeds and I'm very aware, is that if I've got to stop or slow down, I have to approach it in a way that I risk having wobbles the least. And so from a standpoint where I'm trying to go and 30 miles an hour and slow down is not the simplest thing, at least not on the V11Y. Slowing down from 30 miles an hour can be tricky. And so it's not just a simple slow down. It takes technique, it takes time, and the more time I spend up there, the easier it gets, and I kind of know how to approach it. But just a simple lean back from 30 will cause wobbles on the V11Y for me. I don't know what other people. I've done it so many times, and so if I'm just flowing along at 30 miles an hour and I just go to stop and I just lean back like I normally would to stop, I'm gonna get wobbles. Can I get out of them? Yeah, I've done it so many times. It's ridiculous, but I'd rather just not have them. And so for me, the only way to do that is I've got to do a couple ways, and neither of them are like preferable, because if you have to stop real quick, now luckily I don't put myself in too many situations where I have to just slam on the brakes. Anything can happen, and if I did, I probably would get wobbles, and that could be dangerous because you got to work yourself out of the wobbles. And the only way to do that with without prolonging your braking line. So if you've really got to stop and it's really dangerous and you can't you can't carve. You can't start carving to get out of the wobbles. People say, "Oh, just carve, just carve." Well, if you're really braking really fast, there's no carving. I mean, I've seen people try to do that, but it's not the way to go, in my opinion. When you're trying to come to a stop very quickly. Now, what I try to do when I'm braking from high speeds is, one, instead of leaning back because you're kind of lean forward, is stand up straight. The first step in you starting to slow down from high speed for me is to just stand up as opposed to leaning forward. It's just to stand up straight, not to go back already first, but just to go from a forward position to a straight up position and then to a back position. And doing it that way, I can avoid wobbles doing that. But like I said, if I go from a leaning forward position directly into a leaning backward position on the V11Y, I will get wobbles. And that's some of the more severe wobbles that I've gotten, that I've had to get out of. And what that takes me to get out of is start carving. And if it's something to where I'm just trying to slow my speed, that's fine. Because I can carve a little bit, slow a little bit, carve a little bit, and I can work my way down. But not in a situation where I'm actually needing to come to a stop very quickly. That wouldn't work. So me being able to do that now, like I said, the other way to do that when you're trying to get rid of the wobbles and you're carving is to lean like way back and grab. A lot of these guys grab the front of their EUCs and pull it back so you can counteract that. Now that works sometimes it doesn't. I've seen videos where that didn't work, and then they go into a side road embankment or something like that, even trying that. So it doesn't always work, and so it could go your way, it could not. So a wheel that I could slam on the brakes, so to speak, or go right directly back into a braking without having to stand up first and then go back, or without having to, what I do is kind of lean into my braking. So it's still a slower braking. It's not the aggressive braking style, leaning straight back to stop that I would prefer. I kind of had to go and push one of my legs into the EUC as I'm braking. That's how I do it. That's probably the fastest way to do it, as opposed to standing up. But like I said, that's more if you're kind of preparing to come to a stop or preparing to slow down for a reason. But if I come into a stop where I have to do a little more quicker, then I try to push into one side as I'm coming back. So kind of carve, kind of a just a side kind of push, and then boom, I'm I'm able to come to a break without too much wobbles that way. And so that's kind of what I had to do. But if I didn't have to worry about that, if I just had a wheel that I could get up to, I didn't have to worry about accelerating. I've gotten down with my acceleration pretty good as far as getting up to speed without wobbling. Not 100%, but most of the time. And I've gotten a feel for that. The braking is one, like I said, it's mostly when I'm going like 25 to 30 miles an hour, and I go to lean back to stop, and I start getting wobbles, and I've got to carve out of it, or like I said, kind of push to one side and continue to brake that way. But like I said, it's always nerve-wracking because it takes a little bit more time. It takes a little extra step to do that, and if you've got to make a definite stop in a shorter distance, then that could be nerve-wracking. So just something I wanted to kind of touch on a little bit. So me going to a V14, certainly a P6. The P6 seems to handle really, really well. Is that the case? I don't know. With the P6, solve some of those problems? Possibly. Like I said, I see those guys handle it. I didn't get a feel for it myself, so I can't know 100%. Would it disappoint me to get the P6 and to have exactly the same kind of problems that I'm having with the V11Y? No. When I say problems, I'm just talking about my riding problems. These aren't problems with the unit, anything that I think is designed poorly or anything like that. But if I buy a more expensive wheel, much more expensive wheel, I kind of want those things to kind of alleviate my fears and my concerns when I'm trying to ride. So, being able to brake harder and not have to worry about wobbles, that would be one thing. And then it's something like cutout, to be honest with you, on a P6 is never going to be a problem. Getting that thing to cut out, you'd have to, I see people trying to get it to those levels and are unsuccessful. So I wouldn't worry about cutout on the P6. I don't think I'd ever be able to do that if I tried. So not worried about cutout on that wheel. I'm never gonna ride that thing aggressive enough to have to worry about cutout. So yeah, not too big of a deal there. As far as wobbles, like I said, of course, going 30 miles an hour and getting wobbles is scary, and no one wants to have to deal with that. So I personally would be interested in something like a P6, and I probably would never need another wheel, to be honest with you, if it did what I needed to do. And I've heard really good things about the Sherman L, wobbles, at low speeds and stuff like that, not really being too much of a problem. I still don't know about the braking part. But like I said, what I've seen with the P6 is super impressive, and I would really, you never know, a lot to spin on a wheel, but we'll see how that goes. I guess that's all I really want to talk about for EUCs. I guess that's all I really wanted to talk about today on this one. I'll probably do another video talking about my new Tamo bike as well. If you enjoyed this content and you found it helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And happy riding.
Out past midnight where the streetlights hum, tires kiss pavement like a beat on the run. Hey, okay, I can't watch my falling like a movie scene. I strut down Main in my red suede boots, fake beard, cocoa, and a peppermint toot. It was on TikTok, dancing on beat. Grandma's got lights on the kitchen sink. I should be tired of the sugar and cheer, but I'm still grooving like it's every year. Yeah, it's merry, it's bright, it's the same every night, but don't lie, you're vibing too. We've heard this before, and now 5 at the store, but it still hits like something new. It's just another Christmas jingle. Deck the halls and feel the tingle. Same old tune with a brand new twist. We not alone, can't resist. It's just another Christmas jingle. Caught up in a cheesy single. Don't fight it, go ahead and mingle. Just another Christmas jingle. There's tinsel stuck in my
puffer coat. That blow up rain, you just tried to gloat. Carolers warbling silent night, but they harmonize like they might fight. I'm sipping nog with a candy cane. Uncle Jeff stuck on a baggage train. His chaos wrapped in silver and gold, but dang it, this joy never gets old. It's a rerun of love from the rooftops above. The same ply, but I'm all in. So bring on the cliches like happy high.